100 years. It's one of those milestones that makes people sit back and say, what have we accomplished? How far have we come? Would those who established our organization in 1913 say, job well done? While they were inventors and risk-takers and leaders with vision, even they would be surprised at how their industry has helped transform our modern world while growing in its reputation as a model for safety. Today, members of the Compressed Gas Association operate in over 100 countries. In the U.S. alone, our members produced $11 billion worth of products in 2011, directly employed 61,000 American workers, and supplied products to industries that account for 29% of U.S. gross domestic product. In fact, every job our industry creates generates 2.3 additional jobs elsewhere in the U.S. economy. It is a shining example of what can be accomplished when an industry responsibly regulates itself.
Going back 100 years, you have to realize that the regulation of hazardous materials began during the Civil War with the regulation of explosives. Well, there's a lot of energy in a compressed gas cylinder, and you can measure it in terms of TNT equivalents.
In 1913, when the members of industry got together and formed the predecessor to CGA, the focus was, we are in a better position as members of the industry to know what the appropriate safety requirements are and to adhere to those and follow those.
From the very beginning, the mission of the Compressed Gas Association has been to develop standards that promote safety and to develop standards that also help companies comply with regulations that are out there and to be proactive with the government in developing those regulations.
The industry is safety conscious because it wants to be and not because somebody has forced it to be, and that makes a world of difference.
To understand how we got here, we have to spend a little time back there. The enduring importance of our industry, the fledgling Compressed Gas Manufacturers Association, really emerged during World War I. The requirement for gases to fuel the war effort and the need to ensure safe handling and transportation brought to life the reasons why our founders sought common standards, guidelines, and a unified industry voice. They believed that those with the greatest industry knowledge were best equipped to ensure its safety. And that has been the foundation upon which we've built a productive partnership with the regulators and governments of the United States and Canada. During this time, a modern consumer was born with a new sense of needs and desires. These folks may not have known how to decode the periodic table, but they knew what they wanted, and they wanted products made possible by the gases our members produce. Krypton for modern lighting, neon for newfangled signage, and on the industrial side, helium for a burgeoning aviation industry. Kids wanted to scream for ice cream, and that was made possible by the commercialization of carbon dioxide that redefined the food industry. To ensure the uninterrupted supply of these and other gases, many pillars of industry safety were established during the early half of the century, from the first uniform program for cylinder inspections to the institution of fire tests. The CGMA Canadian section was also founded to ensure safety across all of North America.
We have had a very strong positive relationship with CGA over 35 years. In our view, they're committed to safety and they have demonstrated that in many ways, and we look forward to continue to work with CGA as we move forward.
Safety is paramount to our gases industry, and that can be demonstrated by the many safety standards that have been published by CGA. CGA also has a process in place that implements the learnings from any incidents back into existing standards, and also develop new standards should a gap be identified. And they do that as a matter of priority.
It would simply be impossible, I think, for the regulatory people to do that kind of work on their own. It would be impossible, or you couldn't get a satisfactory result, in my opinion.
As the cryogenic age took shape, With inventive ways to produce, store, and distribute gases in liquid form, large quantities of gas could suddenly be transported and utilized in the most efficient and economical ways. A timely advance given the arrival of the Second World War and the industrial needs of the war effort. It was at this time that the CGMA funded a study to develop regulations for the safe transport of gases, the result of which would be equally important at war's end, when our industry was counted on to literally fuel the post-war boom. The breakthroughs came fast and furious. The ability of customers to produce oxygen on-site became a reality. The spreading use of transistors and semiconductors increased the need for a large number of gases, from argon to helium to nitrogen. And frozen concentrated orange juice, thanks to teaming liquid nitrogen and CO2, revolutionized the food world. The CGMA, now renamed the CGA, was representing an industry that was moving ahead and changing more rapidly than our founders could have ever imagined.
That's the pillar of the CGA, is to always stay in the lead. I am very proud of the CGA because I've known all of its members over 20 years, and I've never seen any company make a shortcut when it comes to safety. And that really is the driving force behind CGA. So it really puts the obligation on the membership to stay in the lead.
CGA has evolved, and just think how many organizations can say they're 100 years old. The CGA has evolved and built on a strong foundation centered on safety and compliance and the development of safety standards. Our industry started with a handful of products like oxygen and acetylene and the challenges around those things. But as our industry has grown, so too has CGA in identifying the risks and exposures with our products, the storage and delivery means, the transportation means of our products to ensure the safety of our associates and those who buy our products.
As the space race and the Cold War heated up, and gases such as helium and liquid hydrogen enabled the U.S. space program to take off, the CGA continued to lead the way on safety. Realizing the global standardization of valve threads, the standardization of cylinder filling, and becoming increasingly involved in work with the International Organization for Standardization and the United Nations. The result was a global harmonization of safety practices that has made our industry and our planet a safer and more productive place. By spreading the word about safety with the industry's first audio-visual safety program, we made sure information was not simply available, but accessible and engaging as well. As our industry proved further in its ability to self-regulate, the CGA redoubled its efforts during the latter half of the century. We instituted the industry's first safety awards program and introduced electronic publications, making valuable safety information available at our members' fingertips. We developed even deeper cooperation with the European Industrial Gases Association, the Asia Industrial Gases Association, and the Japan Industrial and Medical Gases Association, and together helped found the International Harmonization Council, representing countries from around the planet to drive worldwide harmonization of safe practices. Today, industry is leading efforts to address the impact of greenhouse gases and to provide environmental benefits. Oxy-fuel combustion creates 90% less nitrogen oxide, which reduces ground-level ozone and smog. Hydrogen is used to remove sulfur from crude oil and helps improve air quality and reduce acid rain and haze. A newly established relationship with GATA has helped us broaden the positive impact of our safety programs. The CGA publication library includes over 300 documents, handbooks, and training videos, and 70 of our publications are referenced by U.S. and Canadian regulations, national codes, or international codes. Adopting bodies include the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, the Canadian Standards Association and General Standards Board, the National Fire Protection Association, and the International Code Council. So much has been accomplished in the past 100 years. mainly because of the support of our members and the trusting relationships we've forged with the governments of the United States and Canada. Just think about how far our efforts have brought us and the wonders our products help create every day. We've harnessed oxygen to enable everything from the manufacture of paper to the production of automobiles to delivery of life to those in medical need. Nitrogen has enabled the world to enjoy a safer, longer-lasting food supply. Gases like krypton have made the light that appears at the flip of a switch something we can happily take for granted. And argon is key to keeping our houses cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter with energy-efficient windows. Specialty gases are critical in producing semiconductors, found in devices that make our lives more productive and enjoyable. Helium is essential to modern technology and helps make medical breakthroughs like the MRI possible. And because of hydrogen, solar panels are able to increasingly power our lives on Earth, as well as the rockets and satellites that help us explore outer space. As you know, this list doesn't begin to scratch the surface. But what is just as amazing as the progress of our industry is the fact that we have achieved this progress without compromising safety. In fact, as our industry has grown, it has become even safer, with a sustained 60% increase in safety over the past 15 years.
End of the day, you have to look at the results. If you look at the results, industrial gas industry, the safety results, it's out there. Clearly demonstrates that our industry is safe.
You have to have a top-down commitment to safety. You have to have upper management recognize that safety is not an expense but an investment and a critical part of a company's culture and infrastructure, and to make sure that that mentality permeates throughout the organization and in the relationship with your customers.
You got decades and decades and decades of learning and experience here at CGA in the membership, as well as the staff, but the actual membership level of knowledge and experience is something you can't find anywhere else. So we participate actively. I think we bring something to the table, but we also take away a lot from each committee meeting that we go to.
The more that industries can self-regulate, can address those safety concerns themselves without having to wait for government intervention, the better off things are. In our experience, the Compressed Gas Association has been at the forefront of safety, and that makes things work much better.
We are open and honest, and we are timely. If you discover something, you don't want to wait for 5 years or 10 years before you start to tell people about it. And I think a large part of CGA's success in self-regulation is that we communicate frequently, on a timely basis, and we're open, and we dig hard to find the answers to issues, safety issues particularly, that arise.
As you can see and hear, the CGA has never been more invigorated about the great promise ahead for our industry. With 26 technical committees in the US and Canada, staffed with over 650 technical experts, participating in over 500 meetings per year, addressing over 700 topics, our drive to ensure the compressed gas industry remains safe and productive has never been stronger. All told, in the past 100 years, CGA has held tens of thousands of meetings and events focused on compressed gas safety and the growth of our industry. So why, like our founders who gathered around that table in 1913, do we feel like we've just begun? Because, like them, we know success isn't just about celebrating how far our industry has come. It's about focusing on the amazing places it can still go. It's about focusing on the safety of every one of our employees, on every employee of every customer, on every emergency responder who relies on our products to save lives, and on the public who benefits so greatly from the products our gases make possible. So on behalf of everyone who worked so hard on the first 100 years, a heartfelt thank you on the part of the CGA, the industry, and the families of every individual who remained safe because of your devotion and dedication to our mission.
our opportunities are almost unlimited. Because the beauty of our industry is that it floats everywhere. It's everywhere. We are laser sharp on safety and laser sharp on standard setting.
The compressed gas industry has a very good safety record, and I think it's due to the commitment of not only the companies, but the CGA's commitment to safety.
To come together and work as one and collaborate for the good of our industry. And that's what makes us such a safe industry.
The value that CGA has brought for 100 years got us to that success.